There we go.
All right. Hey, this is me, Brian. You're listening to Transparency and Merit. And
Yes,
assuming Joe.
I'm Joe, and you are listening to Transparency and Merit 2 times. So, yes, why don't we go ahead and get it started here. What did we call this show tonight?
You know what? We called it... we're calling it Conversations, or OTM Episode 3, Conversations on Twitter. And basically, I had an interesting conversation with someone on Twitter, and this person, to me, anyway, I'm gonna tweet this show out real quick. So JP,
nice.
If you can just talk a little bit. I don't know if there's anything you want to say, but I'm just gonna tweet the show out.
Sure.
Just so maybe because I'm interested in continuing this conversation. So
we will. We're gonna get into it in a second, but I just wanted to remind people we are just this is our 3rd episode, and not our 3rd episode ever. We've had a few other different podcasts that we've worked on over the years, but now we are Transparency and Merit. You can find our website, transparencyandmerit.com, for more information. But for now, we're just kind of going through some of these ideas and talking about some of Brian's experiences over on Twitter and, well, in social media in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think on Facebook and on YouTube, you've had a lot of interactions with people that oppose your points of views, and but you go to these videos with an open mind, and I'd imagine you've been disappointed more times than not.
Well, I'll tell you something. I have been disappointed quite a bit. But you know what I mean? It's par for the course. We've been dealing with the issue of the civil rights industrial complex for over. You and I have been dealing with it in an off and on way for over, I would say, 2000, since Barack Obama was president. Or maybe even before that, or at least since his first presidency, 2011.
That was when we started, 2011.
Yeah, and we've been kind of more and more aware of it, and it's gotten worse. And I was watching a YouTube video on Twitter, not about Twitter, and it wasn't the Twitter CEO. But, and I forget her name, but she is one of the lawyers. I think she's one of the lawyers for Twitter, and she handles the policy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, and both Twitter and YouTube basically are saying that we want to promote things that come from a verified source. And what that really means is, we really don't want to rock the boat, because verified sources are kind of even conservative verified sources are to a degree under the control of the civil rights industrial complex. So there are certain conversations you cannot have. As a matter of fact, Tucker Carlson was boycotted. So they'll go only so far with certain types of truth. I mean, of course, the mainstream conservatives would never have Colin Flaherty on, even though what he says is very much verifiable, and nobody has ever been able to, no legitimate source has ever been able to debunk him. So instead of debunking him, what they do is censor him. And it's the rabbit hole on censorship, and we're going to go into that, like how they're doing it, the manner in which they're doing it, and just some of the things. I mean, and as we begin to study it, some of the things that they're doing that are really just, to me, seem to be rather on the dishonest side, and are really promoting propaganda and their forms of propaganda, not necessarily verified sources. So I want to go into a quick conversation with this person that I had, and let me see where I would start. And this is a person by the name of, and I don't even know if I want to say her name, but she stated that I had, let me see, I want to see if I go to the beginning to where, if it is the last thing that she said. But she basically tweeted to Colin Flaherty about, about loving and let's see, and I can't find her original tweet, but I ended up tweeting to her as well as to Colin Flaherty. And I did mention, let me see if I have even my, it's because there's no thread there, but so I'm just going to say what she said, and then I got to find what I tweeted to her, because I'm not, for some reason, I'm not able to see it, but this is misconceptions. Because there are things that I did not say. She said, to see a whole race as angry does not make a person look wise, and many have literally just eaten dirt and found ways to succeed. And I was talking about honorability. Most people would rather eat dirt than do what was dishonorable and wrong. And let me see here. Let's see. Those are most definitely assumptions. My goal is not to downplay what is happening to white people. It's just ironic how so many can think that racism doesn't exist when it comes to the mistreatment of black people, but the same talk about hate against white. I don't believe that racism, does not exist against white people or black people. The thing is, one is absolved of moral responsibility and the other is not. And basically the media covers it up. Doesn't cover it. And then the internet basically goes out of its way to censor what's going on. And basically they don't want people to be wise to the black on white racial violence that is out there. And not just in America, by the way.
And not just with that topic. It's various topics, but go on. Yeah,
it is various topics, the things that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know.
It's like if you start getting hot as far as getting good information, those sources suddenly get very difficult to find.
I think for this issue, it is, and Colin Flaherty says it's the biggest lie of our generation, of black racism and mistreatment, while a lot of whites are being mistreated. And, it goes into the, like his book goes into the court cases. And one case in particular, when Chicago police officers put a woman, like they dropped her off in a black neighborhood. When that group sued, they said basically putting a white person in a black neighborhood contributed to her death, and it made it unsafe for her. So if even the courts of law understand this, why does the media hide it And then why do so many social media sites such as YouTube and Facebook try to censor that? And it's like, can we have an honest conversation about what's going on in this country? And like I said, not only what's going on in this country, but what's going on in the world with regards to crime. I mean, oh, geez. Transparency and merit. But, yeah. So anyway, is there anything else to add, Joe, before we call it a day?
I thought that topic deserved it. Yes, I think you covered it pretty well there. Are you sure that's it, though?
Yeah.
You're not going to get off and be like, oh wait, I forgot to say something.
I don't want to go any further because I don't want to skew anything. But there are things that kind of go down the rabbit hole, and I want to have there's information that I'm looking at right now, and I don't want to misinform people, but like I said, there is a thing, the civil rights industrial complex. It's real. It basically is a censorship organization. It censors truth, and it doesn't have empathy for you. And like I said, it wants you to sit and listen to its lecture, and it wants you to be many people to be masochist, giving in to sadist. And I guess, yeah, that's about that's about all I have to go on to this subject as of now. Joe, do you have anything to add?
You know what? We had done a blog not that long ago, and when I went to Google and typed in civil rights industrial complex, that blog would come up first because those words it was basically unsearchable. The term hadn't been used. I couldn't find it, at least. It may have been used, but I hadn't seen it online. Anyways, our blog had been coming up on that first page. If you Google Civil Rights Industrial Complex now, that blog is not coming up on the first page. So,
yeah, no, it's not. I mean, well, they have called it machine learning. So machine learning fairness. And basically what they're doing, and this is the Civil Rights Industrial Complex at work.
Definitely, man. This is
proof positive. They definitely want to censor you, and Google is censoring, and they don't want a debate. There are certain things they don't want you to discuss. There are certain things that they basically, they don't want you to know. That's why people like Colin Flaherty, and by the way, you should read his books. White Girl Bleed a Lot and Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. I hope someday he writes a book about the worldwide kind of basically how, it seems like white societies have to tolerate things that other societies don't have to tolerate. Could be wrong on that, but that's what it looks like to me, that they have to tolerate mass immigration, and no matter how or if those immigrants that are there, if they're compatible to that society, and if they are inflicting pain on the citizens at large. And it seems to me that they use words like racism and white supremacy basically to shut down honest discussion and honest debate. And they've been doing this for years.
Let's end it now. Thank you again for listening. Check out more Transparency and Merit.